Could I invite Yani Johanson to come forward, please?
I, Yani Johanson, declare that I will faithfully and impartially, and according to the best of my skill and judgment, execute and perform, in the best interests of the City of Christchurch, the powers, authorities and duties vested in or imposed upon me as a member of the Christchurch City Council by virtue of the Local Government Act 2002, the Local Government Official Information and Meetings Act 1987, Te Tiriti o Waitangi, or any other act. Araha ki te whenua, te taupapa o te manaaki, kia atawhai ki te iwi. How Mount Maunganui turned from paradise to prison, screamed a headline on the Stuff website in an article written by Max Christopherson a few months ago. Max made reference to Mount Maunganui being destroyed by too much growth, too much greed, too much development, too many subdivisions, too many people, and not enough land. He goes on to complain that large councils have increasingly seen themselves as quasi-corporates rather than community gatekeepers, and that the development and growth continues with little regard for the loss of lifestyle. Dick Smith, the founder of Dick Smith Electronics fame, gave these thoughts as he flew on a helicopter across the Atlantic in 1982. As part of that journey, seeing the world firsthand, flying over the towns, cities, farms, and factories, he commented, "Before people talked of climate change, I said, I can't believe that we're not completely wrecking the world, because as I flew most of the time, it was in smog or smoke, the amount of clearing that was going on, the huge cities, you could just see 5 billion people were damaging the earth tremendously." He also noted that an alternative to perpetual growth is an economic system that values quality, not quantity, and that it should be about quality of life rather than consumption. So I highlight these points to you as we consider the future of Christchurch. Post-earthquake, there's been much development for the sake of development, with huge greenfields across Greater Christchurch being rezoned for additional housing, commercial and industrial land. And while they might make our economy look good to some, the question of what is the cost, who pays and who benefits is seldom considered. Our urban development strategy in 2007-2008 consulted the Greater Christchurch area, and it was clear that community feedback from the majority of people were against urban sprawl. They wanted a green belt around the edge of the city. They valued sustainable development with good urban design and a consolidation of development within our existing boundaries. Unfortunately, that view was ignored, resulting in a dispersed growth, which has led to many detrimental outcomes to the city. In my view, this term of council, we will be at a crossroads for us to consider the choices between growth for growth's sake, or in my view, cherishing our natural environment. We need to consider rebalancing our economic agency's priorities, focused on simply growing the local population and increasing GDP. The future of my city this term needs to focus on 5 key things: addressing the inequity that is growing globally, nationally and locally by investing in our communities and considering the affordability of what we do and who pays. A city that is made up of areas that retain their character with amenity and focus on good urban design. Environmental and social measures put in place to measure, monitor and inform how much growth is necessary and at what cost to our quality of life, while recognising the importance of climate change. Fixing our broken infrastructure, our housing and protecting our water sooner rather than later is essential. People cannot wait another 3 decades for their roads to be fixed, and we cannot allow our water to be chlorinated and filled with nitrates. And finally, we have to consider, in my view, the social connectedness across our city and across our diverse communities. And as I stand here as councillor-elect for the Linwood ward, I need to acknowledge on what happened on March 15th. A terror attack on us, on our Muslim community, on our city, and on our country. A heartbreaking experience, but also a heartwarming event to see the community response. Christchurch is proud to be a peace city, a city that came together to deal with this terrible and horrific event. And our thoughts are with those who have and are suffering, of those who have borne the brunt of such brutality. We also acknowledge the support and sympathy from around the country and around the globe. There is no place for hate in our country or in our city or in our community. So I say we must unite to defy such hatred and hostility. We must embrace diversity and difference to celebrate and understand each other rather than to be afraid of one another. Araha ki te whenua, te taupapa o te manaki, kia atawhai ki te iwi. That, translated, means love and respect to the land, which is the foundation of hospitality and care for the people. This is the Māori proverb that sits atop Council's multicultural strategy. So I just wanted to conclude by saying thank you to all those that have supported me on my journey, to Labour, to People's Choice, to my family, my friends, and all my supporters, and to the residents of the city and the citizens of this community who have supported me to be elected as councillor for Linwood. It is my view that Aotearoa Christchurch needs to be an inclusive, multicultural, multilingual city that honours te reti o Waitangi and values our environment, a city where all people belong. Thank you very much.